Dear students, now I'll discuss remaining part of the poem, The Sun Rising. First, I'll explain the last two lines of the first stanza. Love all alike, no season knows, nor clime, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. Here, the lover wants to say that they are not guided, they are not controlled, and they are not changed by the change of season or climate or different subdivisions of time like hours, days, months. They are free from all kinds of restrictions. They are their own guide. They guide themselves. They are not guided by any other person. Even the sun does not have any command, any control over them. If the sun thinks that it has the capacity to control the activities of the lovers, then it is a fool. And so the poet lover addresses the sun in the first line of the stanza as busy old fool. The sun is a fool. Why? Because it thinks that it has the capacity to guide and to control the activities of the lovers. And so it enters the bedroom of the lovers to remind them of the end of night, to remind them that they should get up because it is now morning. The sun must know the truth that the lovers are free from all kinds of restrictions. They do not care for the change of seasons, change of climates, change of time, hours, days, months, etc. Now the second stanza begins. Thy beams so reverent and strong, why shouldst thou think? See the pride of the lover. See the use of metaphysical conceit. Even in the first stanza, the lover is full of pride. He even begins to chide the sun, the all-powerful sun. He addresses the sun as busy old fool, unruly sun. So he is full of pride. Lover is full of pride. And here again, in the beginning of this stanza, the lover says, Thy beams so reverent and strong, why shouldst thou think? O sun, why do you think that your beams, your rays are so strong and so reverent? Why do you think so? I don't think like that. Your rays are meaningless for me. Why meaningless? Because I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink. I can negate, I can ignore your rays, your beams, your light simply by letting my eyelids drop. With a wink, only with a wink, I could eclipse them. I could eclipse your beams and cloud them, cover them with a wink. I close my eyes and your beams, your light will be meaningless. So you should not think that your beams, your light is reverent and strong. It can do anything. So you should not think in that manner. But that I would not lose her sight so long. But I'll not close my eyes even for a single second. Why? Because now my beloved is before me. And I can't miss to see her face even for a single second, so I can't close my eyes. If her eyes have not blinded thine, look, and tomorrow late tell me whether both the Indies of spice and mine be where thou left'st them, or lie here with me. Ask for those kings whom thou sawest yesterday, and thou shalt hear, all here in one bed lay. The lover is completely blind in love. See how he challenges the sun. If the eyes of my beloved have not blinded your eyes, have not blinded you, then actually the lover thinks that the light in the eyes of my beloved is more powerful than the light even of the sun, light of the sun. And he thinks that since the sun has entered his bedroom and faced the light of the eyes of his beloved, so the sun must have been blinded. The sun must have been blinded. But if it is not blinded, then look and tomorrow late tell me. Then do one thing. Mr. Sun, do one thing. Late and tomorrow late tell me whether both the Indies of spice and mine be where thou leftest them, or lie here with me. Actually, the sun is everywhere in this world. Sometimes it is here and sometimes it is there. It is in India, it is in America, it is in England, it is in China, it is in East Indies, it is in West Indies. The sun can see everything and every person all over the world. So the lover thinks that the sun must visit the East Indies and the West Indies. East Indies is famous for spices and West Indies for mines. Of gold, etc. So, if you have traveled through the whole world, then come back tomorrow and tell me whether the whole world, all the riches of the world, lie here with me or not. Because, see the metaphysical conceit, use of metaphysical conceit. See the pride of the lover. The lover thinks that his beloved is all in all. Nothing is richer, nothing is more beautiful, nothing is more powerful than his beloved. And so he asks the sun to give him information whether the East Indies and the West Indies all lie in his bedroom on the bed in the form of his beloved. So whether both the Indies of his spice and mine be where thou leftest them. You saw East Indies and West Indies at their proper places, but now you have come here and tell me whether the West Indies and the East Indies both lie with me or not. That means my beloved is all in all. The whole world is now confined in the person of my beloved. Ask for those kings whom thou sawest yesterday. You saw so many kings all over the world, ruling over their kingdom. Now ask for them in my bedroom. You will find all the kings here, because thou shalt hear all the kings you will hear, all the kings will reply from this place, from my bedroom, because all here in one bed lay. All are lying in my bed, because my beloved is the whole world. She is all states. She is all states. She is the image of all the states, all the riches, all the things of the world. And who is in charge of that states? And all princess I. I am the all princess. She is all states and all princess I. See the metaphysical concept. Lover is full of pride. He regards that he is the king of the whole world. That is in the person of his beloved. His beloved is all states and he is all princess. He is so much full of pride. Nothing else is. Any other thing of the world does not exist. Only my beloved is there and only I am there. She is all states and all princess I. Nothing else is. Nothing else is. Princess do but play us. Compared to this, all honor is mimic, all wealth alchemy. Princess do but play us. You will see all of them, all the princes here. I am enjoying here. Compared to this, all honor is mimic, meaningless, all wealth alchemy. All the wealth looks like imitative. All the whole world, everything is an illusion. But only reality is my beloved and I. Thou, son, art half as happy as we. In that the world is contracted thus. Thou, son, art half as happy as we. Son, you can shine at one time only at one part of the globe. And then when you go to the other part, you cannot see this part, the previous part of the globe, of the world. So you are not as happy as we are. I can see the whole world at a time, because the whole world lies in my bed in the form of my beloved. So I am more happy. I am happier than you. Why? Because I can see the whole world at one time. You cannot see the whole world at one time. You can see only half of the globe at one time. So I am happier than you. Thou, son, art half as happy as we, in that the world is contracted thus. Thine age asks ease, son. Now remember the first line of the poem. Son, he addresses the son as old. So son, you have become old. Thine ages asks ease. Now you need rest, because you are an aged person. You are now quite old. So go and take rest. Don't disturb us. Thine ages, your age asks ease, rest. Ease means rest. Your age needs rest. And since thy duties be, and what is your duty? Your duty is to warm the world, to give heat, to give energy, to give warmth to the whole world. This is your duty. What is your duty? To give heat to the world. That is done. Your duty has been done. You have done your duty. Why? How? Because you have warmed us. That is done in warming us. Thine age asks ease, and since thy duties be to warm the world, what is your duty? To warm the world, to give heat to the world. That is done. You have given heat to the world. How? In warming us. You have warmed us, so you should think that you have warmed the whole world, because the whole world lies in my bed. You have warmed us, that means you have warmed the whole world. You have given heat to the whole world. So go and take rest. You need not travel throughout the world. Now go and take rest, because now you are old. Since here to us, and thou shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. If you shine here in my bedroom, you shine everywhere. Thou art everywhere. Shine here and you are everywhere. How? Because the whole world is now in my bedroom, on my bed, in the form of my beloved. So shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. You will be able to think that you have done your duty. This bed, thy center is, these walls, thy sphere. The sun moves round and round inside its circle. Sphere means circle. So, the whole world is its sphere, its circle. Now the world is confined inside his bedroom, the bedroom of the lover. So the lover says, this bed thy center is. What is your center now? My bed is your center. And these walls, the walls of my bedroom, thy sphere is your circle. Your circle is now the walls of my bedroom. And what is your center? My bed. My bed is your center, and the walls of my bedroom is your circle. So, shine here, that means you have traveled everywhere. You have done your duty. So, go and take rest. This is the poem, The Sun Rising. Now, you have seen the beautiful use of metaphysical conceit. The lover is full of pride. He is so much full of pride that he is not ready even to accept the power, the capacity of the sun, which is the most powerful thing, most powerful aspect of nature. So this is the poem, The Sun Rising. It is a love poem by John Donne, and a very interesting, very famous poem. I think you must read it twice, thrice, and you will enjoy it. Thank you. And possibly tomorrow I'll discuss Donne's next poem, that is Valediction Forbidding Morning. Valediction Forbidding Morning. Tomorrow I'll discuss the poem, and then I'll send you the video. Thank you.